Agriculture and farming depend on generations. One generation is built on the other generation. Now, the technology and the seed quality, all that can help, but still somebody got to do this work. Somebody still got to put a seed in the ground or cultivate it or something. Ain't nothing, you can't get around that. This is what you call a land patent from the United States government. It's a homestead certificate number 3790. This goes back to the treaty when they moved all the Indians from here on the Trail of Tears and opened this land up for settlement, for white settlers. So I'm still trying to figure out how all these black families were able to you know, this woman 20-some years after the Civil War, so somebody had to know how to read and write. You know, my farm went from a traditional 160-acre homestead to almost 1,000 acres. Then I decided in the early 80s that I didn't want to continue that treadmill. Get big or get out, which I didn't agree with. So I reduced it back down, growing open pollinated, no GMO seeds, no Roundup ready products at all on my farm. What we're trying to do in my farm and in the co-op is help the next generation keep it sustainable. And when I say sustainable, where you can make a good living, don't hurt the environment, produce a good quality product that don't hurt nobody when they eat it. And that requires knowledge, capital, but mostly it requires a commitment to the future. It's been farmed for 100 years or more. Now, one generation could have messed it up somewhere, or as I folks say that it can blow away or wash away. So you got to know how to protect it. So if you can keep that going for another 100 years.
I'd like to introduce you to Ben Burkett. He's a fourth-generation Mississippi farmer. Now, I first met Ben 25 years ago when I was developing farmers markets in New Orleans. At that time, he told me, "You know, I've been looking for you, or someone like you, for years. You see, we no longer can break into the New Orleans market."
I always enjoyed what I was doing. You know, I made a little money, lost a little money, been broke 2 times, I know. And I went back, and his name was Hugh Garraway. How can I say this in a good way? He was just set in his ways, because he still called me a colored boy when I go in there. But he taught me a lot about the business. I tell you that, about banking and line of credit, everything you need to know to stay in the business. What I do, I just continue to plant. Sweet corn, black-eyed peas, pink-eyed peas, brown crowder, lady peas. I keep planting 10 or 12 rows every week.
So that means you're always planting,
And I'm
always harvesting.
harvesting.
Does that improve cash flow?
I can definitely improve cash flow.
Rather than waiting for one time?
One time.
Today, relatively simple problems that could be solved are being left to fester. As a result, the gaps between what we can do versus what we're doing are growing. And you know, another gap that really troubles me is the distance between urban and rural. This is why I've come to visit Ben, a global leader in rural development, literally from Alabama to Zambia. His relationship with Edible Schoolyard in New Orleans is flourishing. Open up the school lunch market to farmers and feed students a lunch that says, we actually care about them and their future. I've come looking for Ben on his farm in hopes that he may have some answers, or at least inspiration as to how to connect the dots in an age otherwise defined by crisis and isolation. His ideas fit really closely with an idea I have. So, let me ask you a quick question.
Okay.
Do you remember the Marshall Plan?
Marshall Plan, from my understanding, was to help rebuild the infrastructure and food and everything after World War II. He had 5 points to it. Food was one of them.
Yeah.
So that increased production. A lot of infrastructure was built.
So what if there was a modern day local Marshall Plan for rural communities? What would that look like?
It would totally change this community. He have a number of small farmers. They could even keep their day job. You see, we have the land here, but we have to, the whole system has to be turned upside down for that to work.
Take the audit. So each one of them have to be laminated and in the field. And this process is actually an expensive process for a small farm. You know, he would really have to take time out to do it. But then not only that, they want you to have a visitor's log of everybody that comes to the farm. And so, well, now we have to sign in before we be able to go to the farm and pick something local that we want to be able to have. And so it might deter some of our, our friends and family. Mr. B, we say, he just says, when have you ever known a small farmer to contaminate anybody in the community or anywhere else that we know of?
We're not talking about investment in some economic sector.
No.
We're talking about investing in community and civilization. And we need to start looking at rural communities not just as a place that grows our food,
That's accurate.
but we're investing in the people and the communities that become regenerated and sustained.
But I always said now, by me being a farmer, getting involved with the Federation and Richard and all the other organizations, National Family Farm Coalition, which I was president of for 10 years, I have a golden opportunity. I've been all over the world. I mean, I've been to China, I've been from South Africa to West Africa, all through Central America. And also I've been able to continue my farming operation.
You can't pigeonhole Alice Waters simply as a restaurateur. Yes, she pioneered the farm-to-table movement, but she didn't build an empire. Instead, she seeded a revolution. And now that revolution has designs upon the school cafeteria. Make lunch an academic subject and bring the farmers into the curricula. With nearly 32 million lunches served daily in our nation's schools, we change them, we bring seismic changes to agriculture. Ben and I met up with Alice at Slow Food Nations in Denver. Together we shopped the farmers market and talked.
You brought some ideas that you saw, solutions that existed elsewhere to farmers, and farmers responded.
Oh.
But then you also learned so much from the farmer.
Oh, they are my best friends. They are my best friends. We have that back and forth.
The school lunches, they don't get that kind of quality. The kids in America don't get that. Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
Because we're so disconnected to the farmers. We've lost that beauty, that nourishment, and that connection to our mother. And every time the kids of the Edible Schoolyard get back in connection with the farmer, with the farm, with the food, they feel like they're home. Very quickly, it happens.
Here we are at Arthur Ashe School in New Orleans, Edible Schoolyard. Okay. There's this wonderful activity going on behind us of kids with guest chefs preparing meals together. How important is that there's direct contact with a farm?
It's really important that they know where the food comes from. A lot of kids come with, and adults come with a misconception that all food comes from the supermarket. So we were highlighting them actually making purchases, produce that is local, and also from farms that are available at farmers markets.
We think we got a market for watermelon, yellow squash, eggplant, sweet corn. And we said this is the volume we think we need. What we need is a market that was straight to the school cafeteria. And I know nowadays most schools don't have cafeterias. Most schools want it ready, pot ready. They don't want to have to clean, cut nothing. So that's with the co-op, we have the ability to do that. And that just would be just a part of a market, our marketing plan. You know, you want to sell some direct to the school, some in the farmers market, some in the restaurants, and the wholesalers and retailers. You wouldn't put all your production in one pot, so it's one place. You never would do that. And here in Mississippi, the school district want to pay so little. You know, you just about, you are community building for what they're gonna pay. It's very little. I think it's $1.66 a day for food per child. That ain't much.
We're hoping with an enlightened governor in the state of California that we can do this all the way, because he really would like organic, local food from kindergarten all the way through high school for all the school lunches, that we make school lunch really an academic subject.
What does that look like if it's an academic subject?
It means that if you're studying the geography of the Middle East, for instance,
Right.
that you might be eating some tabbouleh salad or some hummus or some pita bread, and you would be continuing the conversation around the culture of food in that region. But I, don't want to cut any costs for the farmer. I want the farmer to take all the money he needs or she needs to grow it. And that is terribly important. But to have the schools become the reliable buyer and supporter of the farmer is going to bring people into farming. We have to bring the culture back to agriculture.
Need about another hour or two like this. This is a farmer's rain here. The eggplants that'll be at the market choose to come out of this field.
So we're always talking about the weather.
Yeah, weather's always a factor.
And the crops that you all are known for are like traditional southern crops.
Peas, okra, butter beans, watermelon, squash.
Is weather something that is beginning to keep you guessing?
You could actually farm without irrigation. But now you get a lot of rain in the winter. You might not get no more rain till June. But I said it's called global warming, but I don't know. Just changing up the climate, I guess. So now they said this area here with global warming, we're gonna be able to grow oranges and kiwis and mangoes and everything else. And they're already putting out trees. But I'm coming from a cooperative of 30 farmers, and we have a place where we bring everything to 12,000 square feet, washing and grading cooling facilities. And this cooperative is 40 years old. The members now are the second and third generation. So I'm able to bring a variety by working together with all these farmers. Most of these farmers are family farm with small acres. Well, it's a time game, because you got to get the ground ready, you got to get the seed, labor, all that, got shipping containers, all of that got to be in place. The co-op itself got to have pretty good operating money, because the co-op got to be able to pay the farmer when he bring it to the co-op. Then we got to pay the transportation costs and all this other cost, and you might not get your money back for 60 days. The co-op industry got to have a good handling practice certificate. Well, we processing it, like shelling it, cutting it up and putting it in the bag. Then we got to have $1 million product liability insurance, which we do have. It's going to be delivered in a refrigerated truck. We got all that. So most all our farms are organic, but only one is certified. But it's a costly proposition.
Yeah, it's costly to
to get the organic certification. But that could be part of the investment.
Exactly. Well,
to build that capacity.
Exactly. We need people who will do certification for the school system. But maybe it's something that we can spread out amongst the farmers, that they can verify it for a neighbor. Maybe it doesn't have to be enormously costly.
You know, I got 12 rows of okra, 600 feet long. But then when you grow them kind of crops, I got to have good labor. And all my labor depends on this community. That's getting to be a problem.
In what way?
So my best labor is 65, 75, 85. There's no future there.
Yeah.
Family farmers too. It's being mechanized. Although they still prevent majority still picked by hand because that machine just a one-time over. We also looking at that drone. The one we talking about getting though required that the operator be FFA certified. Okay. So we looking at that technology too. So we're gonna put in a value-added producer grant. We're working on it now. One drone could do all of us in 7 counties.
Drones to grow food more efficiently? Maybe, but what kind of unified and committed vision of the future do we want to give to our children? If we use the power of the federal school lunch purse to transform rural America as a Kickstarter, how can we create the unified will to maximize our kids' future? If we tap into our grandfathers and fathers and mothers' Marshall Plan of 60 years ago, and the 130 years of local knowledge on the Briquette farm, won't we connect to a better future for everyone?
We are all connected one way or the other. Air, water, soil, all of that is connected. So that's really what I do on this farm right here can affect somebody in Africa. And I didn't realize that till I started traveling. But that's what it's all about. And it definitely, with the changing of the season and the way the global warming and the air pollution, water pollution, farmers should be on the front line of that because we are the front line of it, and we should be able to take care of what we have. 4, 5, 6 generations now. 130 years. 130 years. Not bad, considering.